Thank you. Happy Monday and good evening, friends and allies. Well, I must admit I feel a little bit emotional and I have to share it with you. I came here today feeling relatively young. Being reminded that it's 15 years that we organized the first Pride Business Forum with the founding members that you can see over there makes me not feel so young anymore. I will think about it. And secondly, there are actually many of you in this room who were with me those 15 years ago when we were sweating at the Hilton, waiting for the first people to arrive. And look, the team that carried out the platform in the years to come, they created this wonderful family. And really a huge respect to everyone who continued in what we created those 15 years ago, which is unbelievable. Anyway. Last November, when Miroslav invited me to speak at the Pride Voices, I had immediately a storyline in my mind about the unstoppable progress we are witnessing, not only for the LGBTIQ+ community, but for everyone. Yet the progress is not perfect. For example, in this country, the politicians sometimes prioritize discussions about the taxation of still wine over the rights of the citizens. But no country and no politician is perfect. And progress is progress, although sometimes it moves at a frustratingly slow pace. However, a few weeks ago, perhaps for the first time in my life, I've begun to worry about the future. I want myself, my partner, potentially our children, and all of you never to face a threat of becoming third-class citizens, to be relegated to some separate communities, islands, or forced into hiding. Generations before us endured those fates, and I don't want to see it again. So although progress is not linear, we cannot let the down cycles go so far so that they move us backwards as a society. Life is messy. It's F-I-N-G difficult. And I think that we owe it to each other to keep building a world where everyone belongs. Sometimes that might be through grand gestures and big strategies, but it's mainly through the daily kind actions that we share with each other. I am 42, and I have experienced my highs and lows. And tonight, I would like to open up and share 4 lessons with you. I hope that they will resonate. So first, my favorite, the equation. I hope that you will love mathematics. We'll see. So, this is a lesson I learned quite recently, and it is best described in mathematical terms. So, progress equals strategy multiplied by execution. So, I do love the strategy part, creating plans, aligning tactics, and perfecting the future timelines. But if you have a brilliant strategy, but your execution is 0, your final result will be 0. So sometimes, even if your strategy is not perfect, it's just like 1 or 2 out of 10, but you execute well with passion and constantly, you will get the progress. And in the LGBTIQ space, I think that we know what needs to be done. We need to push for legal protection, create safe workplaces, foster safe communities, and so on. But we need to act, and we need to act constantly. And if we wait for others, we will risk stagnation. So my message is, don't let an imperfect strategy to keep you from taking actions. The second, it's coming outs in plural. So yeah, as we know, coming out isn't a one-time thing. It happens again and again in different contexts. Sometimes it's very exhausting. So my initial gay coming out wasn't all that dramatic, but I had a different coming out at work tied to my background in dance. So in last millennium, yeah, I can say that, I'm so old, I studied dance in secondary school at Conservatoire. First modern dance, and then, as you can see, a classical ballet. Unfortunately, injuries stopped me from going pro, but I must say that the time of life really shaped me profoundly. And at school, at the Conservatoire, I must say I felt unsafe being openly gay. It was the last millennium, right? And when my boyfriend at the time called me, we had mobile phones, I was rather pretending that he's a girl, and I was using the feminine pronouns because I felt unsafe at a school where everybody thinks that everybody is gay. And when after the years, when I found out that actually most of us were gay, I thought, so what happened? But actually, to be honest, I think that we were just, as kids, quite exhausted from the heavy training and from the competition, kind of competition that exists at such a school. So we just didn't want to rock the boat and really show who we are. And by the way, I hope that today at that school, the environment is already completely different and everybody can be themselves. But now, fast forward to the corporate life, I faced a different challenge. So being gay was completely okay, or actually it felt, well, okay. And my partner often joined me for events as my +1. Some of my bosses even liked my partner more than me, frankly. And so everything kind of like from this perspective was okay. But I had a different problem with a different coming out. Because mentioning a dance background, which kind of like was really part of myself in the high-level corporate setting, that was quite nerve-wracking. So I'd rather put hints about my MBA and my other studies at Oxford and so on, because that felt safe and it gave me credibility. But to mention that I used to be a ballet dancer, no. I must admit, in my eyes, it kind of like seemed too soft and not professional. But then, I was assigned to build innovation consulting services in this region. And suddenly, my artistic background became a huge asset. Because innovation, so what do you expect? Creativity, discipline, thinking outside of the box, many of the qualities that artists need to have. So I suddenly had two coming outs to do, that I am gay and I used to be a ballet dancer and I know what the art is about. And actually, even this second coming out turned to be, for me, an advantage. And when I started coming out not only as a gay but also as a ballet dancer, I discovered that so many of my colleagues mainly women and senior to me, they danced in their teens too. So we suddenly created even completely new relationships together. So the lesson, being comfortable with who you are on every level, is a process. And it requires action. We can't just come out once. We have to keep doing it and expanding the fullness of who we are at every setting. Third lesson, no one is truly self-made. So when I moved to Singapore, some of the people started calling me a self-made man. So small village boy from the smallest primary school in the country at the time, world-class MBA, business education at Oxford, and relocating to Asia. I won't lie, that label, self-made man, felt good at first. And the Singapore's culture at that time celebrated meritocracy. So did Oxford. So this idea that you can really get ahead purely by your own talent and abilities. Now, pure meritocracy, bullshit. My achievements are part of my own doing, yes, but they are also the result of countless others. My loving and supporting partner, my parents who sacrificed sleep and comfort, teachers who steered me, mentors, friends, even bosses who challenged me. I am, and we all are, an amalgam of everyone who has helped us, believed in us, and sometimes scolded us when needed. So yes, set goals, have a strategy, and execute, but also remember your responsibility to those around you, because no one succeeds alone. If you want a true meritocracy, lift others up too, so we all progress. Fourth, living long fully. Well, it's not a surprise, but we have one life, one chance to be useful and have an impact. My passion for healthy living, biohacking, and longevity has begun perhaps when I was 11. My father died after an accident that I could have easily be a part of. And losing him so suddenly and kind of like so personally filled me with a deep fear of death and dying, which is still with me today. But it also ignited my determination to live as fully and healthily as possible. And thanks to the advances in medicine and technology, living longer and healthier lives is already possible, it's within the reach. Yes, we need a strategy, and we mainly need to execute. We need to start with the small actions every day, which becomes a habit. So regular exercise, nutritious food, quality sleep, take care of our mental well-being. And why is this so important in my view? Because if we maintain our health, we stay more independent as we age, we cost the healthcare system less, and we are happier. And that means that we have more time to drive progress and also more opportunities to enjoy the results. So I encourage us to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of the others. And yeah, I forgot my picture, 1 year old. So cute, yes. Thank you. So, the 4 lessons that I try to share with you tonight. First, progress needs both strategy and execution. Don't let an imperfect strategy to stop you from taking action. Second, come out over and over, whether it's about sexuality, your past experiences, unique talents. Keep revealing who you are, because you don't know who you will inspire. Third, we are products of countless influences. So acknowledge your debt to others and try to pay it forward. 4, we have a chance to live longer and healthier lives than any generation before. That means more time to contribute and more opportunities to have fun along the way. Finally, I challenge myself and I invite you to join me as well to shoot for what I call HHPP. Happy, healthy, prosperous planet. Is it a bit cheesy acronym? Maybe it is, I admit. But for me, it is a reminder. If we do not push for a future that includes all of us, someone else will. And they might leave many of us behind. I beg you, let's not let that happen, please. Thank you.